to be honest, when drugs are your crowd, those are the people you end up being attracted to, people who are searching for the same type of empty fulfillment that you are.
His mother, Deborah, couldn't even recognize him.
All I could say is, Justin, we've got to get some help.
One day, his father, Ben, had had enough. He took Howard to treatment and gave him something that would change his life.
He came home with an addiction studies pamphlet from Long Beach City College and said, Justin, these are the classes you need to take.
Reluctantly, Howard enrolled, but quickly discovered his love of learning.
Justin Howard.
Despite having a full-time job as a butcher and being a caretaker for his mother, he earned a 4.0. He says his next step is to use his own story as a springboard so one day he can help others. He's headed to UCLA with the hope of becoming a physician's assistant.
Prevent the mental health dysfunction or issues that precede drug addiction or trying to treat drug addiction itself.
But there's one person missing at his graduation.
He was always supposed to make it here.
His father died unexpectedly of pancreatic cancer back in January.
This would have been his dream. But I know he can see it.
Howard says he owes this moment to his father because without him, he never would have gotten sober or realized his potential.
I'm going to succeed in the next level, and we're doing this regardless, and Mom's safe with me, and just thank you so much.
In Long Beach, I'm Rena Nakano, Kcal News.
A lot of people were proud of him.
Congratulations.
Sure. That's right. Thanks for watching Kcal News at 8.
Kcal News at 9 starts right now.
This is Kcal News, Los Angeles.
Now at 9, a showdown with ICE. An American citizen is arrested, and tonight protests have broken out.
Who is in charge of the National Guard in LA? The state and federal governments square off in court.
And President Trump now weighing a major decision. Will the U.S. strike Iran? The latest developments from the White House. Good evening, everyone. I'm Pat Harvey.
I'm Rudabeh Shabazi.
And tonight, thousands of National Guard troops remain in downtown L.A. as Governor Newsom goes to battle with President Trump in court to send them home.
Kcal News political reporter Tom Waite has the latest on the case and the claims tonight from Kcal Democrats who say ICE is indiscriminately arresting people and holding them in inhumane conditions.
That's right. They visited a detention facility in Adelanto today, and they are trying to find one of their constituents in particular. We'll get more into that in just a second here. But yeah, it's another day of Governor Newsom versus President Trump, and tonight reports ICE is already massively over budget and could run out of money next month, and claims that people are going missing after ICE arrests. It was a surreal scene. Army National Guard troops on the streets of downtown LA on President Trump's orders. Governor Newsom took Trump to court to take back control of the California National Guard. The case went before the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals on Tuesday.
There were 1,000 violent protesters this past weekend outside the federal buildings, and it required the National Guard. They were essential.
And they circumvented the governor, who did not receive the order and who certainly did not issue it.
No decision by the three judges hearing arguments. It could come as early as Friday, but many legal experts expect Trump to prevail. Meanwhile, in Washington, U.S. Senator Alex Padilla made an emotional speech on the Senate floor, blasting Trump and ICE agents for tackling him to the floor, and said ICE's real mission in L.A. is a power grab.
And at one point, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security said that the purpose of federal law enforcement and the purpose of the United States military was to, quote, liberate Los Angeles from our governor and our mayor, to somehow liberate us from the very people that we democratically elected to lead our city and our state. Colleagues, let that fundamentally un-American mission statement sink in.
In the high desert, 4 U.S. representatives from SoCal visited a federal immigration detention center in Adelanto. They say the conditions inside are inhumane.
There in the cells that we had a discussion with those that were being detained right in the cells who said that they did not have a change of clothes for 10 days. not a change of underwear, and they had the same towel that they had to wash over and over again.
And the representatives claim ICE is indiscriminately detaining people.
I came here today to find my constituents. I have a constituent who is deaf and mute. He was picked up by ICE and transported, and we are still looking for him.
There are reports ICE detention facilities nationwide are severely overcrowded and that ICE is desperately looking for more beds. The news site Axios reports the agency is $1 billion over budget.
Sounds like they're going to have to ask Congress for money.
Well, they are absolutely operating illegally. Yes, they have spent all of their money. And if they come back to Congress, maybe Trump has the votes to get them, maybe not. We certainly, the Democrats are not going to vote for more money for ICE.
On X, Homeland Security says agents are pursuing violent criminals and that worksite enforcement remains a cornerstone of the efforts to safeguard public safety.
Tonight, a meeting of the Santa Fe Springs City Council ending in shouts as demonstrators demanded answers after ICE raided a local swap meet this weekend. The protesters say they want their city council members to step up and help protect the community.
Our city let them go in and take our community. The Santa Fe Springs swap meet manager told his vendors that they would be safe, and he let them go into the swap meet.
We have to be proactive about this, and that's why we're coming here. We want them to, I mean, they're the only ones that we can speak face to face. We can't speak to our senators. We can't speak to our president. I mean, something's got to be done.
The swap meet reopened today, but vendors told us customer turnout was low. They think because people were worried ICE would return. We reached out to the city council for comment, but have not heard back. An intense showdown during an ICE raid in Pico Rivera caught on camera.
Yes, after ICE agents arrested a 20-year-old American citizen, tonight hundreds of people took to the streets to protest. And Kcal News reporter Lori Perez is in Pico Rivera with the video that's causing so much disruption. And hopefully we can hear you, Lori, because they're obviously still protesting right now.
That's absolutely right, Pat. You know, hundreds of people remain here. They have been here for hours. These are families and children and young people protesting not only what happened here today, the video does show a very aggressive takedown, but more generally what they see as a continuing attack on the community overall. You can hear just how much support they are getting from cars on the street. This video shows Adrian Andrew Martinez in the blue Walmart vest appearing to talk to federal agents and an agent pushing him back. He follows and then the smartphone recording the exchange goes flying. The video picks up again as agents wrestle the 20-year-old to the ground. Oscar Preciado was the one taking the video and says Border Patrol tried to grab him too.
He grabbed me by the neck and put the other hand behind my neck. Luckily, I was able to get him off of me and kept recording. When he saw I had the phone in I had my camera on, I told him, I'm recording this, and that's when he smacked my hand to get my phone out of my hand.
Preciado says this all started in the parking lot of the Walmart and Lowe's shopping center on Washington Boulevard. When Martinez was standing up for an older man, federal agents were cuffing, insisting they needed a warrant. And as far as he saw, all Martinez did was talk. Preciado, who works for a delivery service, says he talks to Martinez almost every day when he comes to pick up orders at Walmart. He says the crowd was screaming he's a U.S. citizen.
And they kept trying to get us to back away. When they realized there was like 10 of us that were recording, some other guys from an unmarked vehicle came out of it with their guns in their hand, pointing at us and everything. And you could hear in one of the other videos, one of the guys like loads it up, like he cocks it like ready to open on us, and they try to intimidate us. And yeah, it was like 4 or 5 of them that were tackling that kid, and he's like maybe 100 pounds.
Tonight, Martinez's family says they do not know where he is. They went to the federal detention center and were told he was not there, but that he is likely going to be charged with assaulting a federal officer. His mom, who confirms her son is a U.S. citizen, is sick with worry and says Martinez is always one to stand up for others.
I just want to say that, I don't think that what he did was wrong. We all have freedom of speech, and that's what he was practicing. So, I would tell him that I love him and I hope he's okay. And, I want him home.
And his community wants ICE out of Pico Rivera. ICE out of Pico! Now, there are reports ICE detained both Martinez and the older man who he was trying to speak up for. And we've heard they might have taken in others at another spot here in Pico Rivera today. We did reach out to ICE for comment, but have not yet heard back definitively. We are live in Pico Rivera tonight. I'm Lori Perez. Back to you.
Lori, thank you so much. Well, free summer events are being postponed or moved due to recent unrest in downtown LA. This Friday's outdoor dance party, the Music Center's Dance DTLA, will be moved inside to the Walt Disney Concert Hall. As for the popular Gloria Molina Grand Park's summer block party, it was scheduled for July 4th, but is being postponed to later in the summer.
Tonight, Riverside police have arrested 2 people for allegedly running over a Trump protester and critically injuring her.
And Kcal News assignment editor Mike Rogers is at the desk now with what police are telling him tonight. Mike?
Yeah, Pat and Rudabeh, they were able to locate 2 people, one of whom they say is the driver, the other they accuse of trying to suppress some of the evidence. I want to show you the video here. This is the video that was caught on camera over the weekend when this protester was hit. Now, they say that the driver of that SUV hit a young girl who police say is still in critical condition tonight, though they do expect her to make a recovery from those injuries. Well, this is the girl we've been telling you about. The Riverside Police Department says they've been able to do investigative work and locate the driver of that car. I want to show you the pictures of him and the woman that they've also taken into custody. The man on the left has been charged with assault with a deadly weapon after this ordeal. The woman on the right, Riverside police say, took the car to Phelan and then did something to the vehicle that would then later lead them to believe that she attempted to damage the evidence. They have taken her into custody for her role in obstructing justice after the fact of this alleged crime. Now, the 2 of them should be in court in the coming days. Riverside Police Department says that they will book them on the assault with a deadly weapon charges and the obstruction of justice after the fact, guys.
Okay, Mike, thank you. And stay with Kcal News and kcalnews.com for continuing coverage of the ICE raids. We have the latest streaming 24/7 on CBS News Los Angeles. Tonight, Israel says it is carrying out new strikes on Iran as U.S. officials debate what they should do.
And as Torian Small explains tonight, there is growing concern and growing signs in Washington that President Trump is weighing the possibility of using the U.S. military in the conflict.